Yes, my people, welcome back. It is your boy C to the PT here, aka Clive, back in for another conversation with two special guests. We have a returning guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Riyadh. You might have seen me before on Clive's show. Happy to be back again.
New guest.
Hi, I'm Chantelle. You might have seen me on TikTok doing my thing, Terry and that. Hi.
Sweet, man. Sweet. Before we jump in, how we doing, Riyadh? You good, yeah?
Oh man, as you can tell by the wet hair, yeah, it's welcome to London, I guess.
Yeah.
Or Britain in general.
Yeah.
Yourself?
Terrible, man. Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm present. I'm, well, just in motion, you know? That's all I can say.
In motion?
Yeah, in motion. Just flowing.
What makes you say that?
I don't know, man. I've just felt aligned recently. That's the easiest way to label it, I'd say. Yourself, Shants?
Yeah, it's really funny you say that, actually.
Yeah.
Like, what was it, 2 Saturdays ago now? Had an experience, and yeah, I've been feeling that same way since. Like, aligned, elevated, just going with the flow. Yeah. In a good way.
Love to see it. So for those that are quite like new to your walk of life and whatnot, how do you describe it to others, would you say? What is it you do?
Well, what I do and my walk of life would be 2 different questions to answer, I think. Like, someone who's new to my walk of life, what I would say to them is what it is truly knowing yourself. And I think in having that connection internally, you connect to everything. Like, you know, they say like the universe and God is something you can find within yourself, and how else to find that but to find yourself. Like,
very big on that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, interesting. And you know, I've been doing a bit of background research and whatnot. What is the word seraph? Can you define that for me?
Seraph. Okay, well, the seraph is, it shows up mostly in like Christian texts as one of the highest divine angels of God.
Interesting.
The reason I chose that name is just because a certain gift that goes into like African spirituality and all that traditional stuff. I don't know if we'll get into that today.
What country are you from, by the way?
Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe.
Zim, yeah.
Zim, nice.
A certain gift that I have, the closest translation to English would be a seraph. So,
Okay. Are you Christian yourself? Are you religious?
No. No.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
Where did you find your most wisdom?
Where did I find my most wisdom? What do you mean, like in teachings and things?
Yeah. Where did you find... Yeah.
I think through life, honestly. I think as much as I have my issues with religion sometimes, I do believe that all of them have pieces that you can take and wisdom and lessons that you can take. So, but I don't know, I think life is my greatest teacher. Like, I've learned a lot from my experiences and shit. Like, sorry.
Yeah, no, good. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so I mean, you say you're from Zim, yeah? Interesting. So, you know, referring to culture now, are you with both your parents by any chance?
What do you mean? Like,
just to
do I live at home?
Yeah. Okay. Upbringing wise as well, was he with both of them?
I was with my mum. No, my dad left when I was quite young. I don't remember having him in the house at all.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just my mum.
Interesting.
Did you ever have a favourite childhood story? That's something that your parents used to say all the time. You used to like it.
Yeah, childhood wasn't the best time, so I'd be scratching my brain for a minute.
Fair enough.
Swears.
I feel like when you're a young kid, you've always got that story that your mum or dad used to tell you, or like a fictional story like Hansel and Gretel. You know those childhood stories that we all hold on to. It's actually quite interesting because if you can find your favourite, if you know your favourite childhood story and analyse that story, you might find a lot about yourself with
Definitely. Did you have one as well when you were growing up?
Oh, good. This is new for me, man. It's a good question, you know. Hansel and Gretel for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know why that story always stood out for me.
What aspects of it?
When he left the breadcrumbs, I was like, it always made me think 2 steps ahead of everything. It's like he had the plan there, but he was inexperienced. If he went through that battle again, he would have not left breadcrumbs. He might have left real rocks. Yeah. So always think ahead, even if it fails. Princess and the Pea, yeah, no homo, yeah. I love that story, man. Yeah. I don't know why, but it just used to appeal to me. And probably one last one. I don't know if this will count as a childhood story, but you know, Looney Tunes and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, fair.
Because they were just so goofy.
Yeah.
You know, it just made me feel like laid back. I could be goofy too, like, and I feel like a lot of people who watch Looney Tunes will have a bit of Looney Tunes inside them somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
What about yourself?
Me, you know what? I can't actually recall. I mean, apart from like maybe TV shows like Looney Tunes or like, it's funny. I don't have any stories or any like narratives that I was necessarily invested into when I was a kid. Not that I can recall, at least. Do you feel like that's something like maybe kids, the new generation, might lack now? Because obviously growing up, that was what we was indulging in.
Nah, they won't lack it because they're getting it in a different flavour. My generation, I'm 24 now, I had it through little books, fairy tales and stuff like that, in like actual book form. And a lot of stories nowadays are coming from cinema, Netflix, Apple, Disney Plus. That's how kids are learning stories now. And if you analyse again what the stories are being fed, you could pretty much unpick a lot, you know, why kids.
I mean,
entertainment's everything.
I mean, even following up from that as well, actually, I actually heard a perspective where, because, you know, obviously the stuff that we was watching back then in comparison to now, so what's popping now, like the Cocomelons and all that stuff. And even someone mentioned even Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and stuff like that. Supposedly, their shots are quite quick. So, you know about how the attention spans in general. Yeah, exactly. So I'm thinking now, imagine the generation of kids growing up indulging in quick form content such as that. What's that going to do for their attention spans? Whereas when we were younger, we were maybe, you know, our ability to concentrate on longer form content would have been a lot more better.
Well, the best way to analyse that is looking at what you need for long-term memory, long-term attention span. Once you figure that out, then you can probably see where what we're gonna be missing in the future if we move to short form content. Because it's true, a lot of cuts, snaps, quick stories, no real development. TikTok, even anime now. Anime used to be like 300 episodes. Fleshing the story out. Now it's 26. So this is called dopamine entertainment. Quick, short, but to the point. Because it has to create consistency, isn't it? If you're on TikTok, it's quick, Instagram, quick. And they can't have cinema slow and dragged. No. They have to kind of adapt it. But is that their fault or our fault? Well, both. We give in to each other, I guess. We're all villains, man.
That's we did. So, I mean, it's the easiest, because everyone's looking to capitalise, isn't it? Like,
it's a perpetual cycle. Like.
Precisely. It's interesting. Okay, so I mean, going back to tradition now. So obviously, you know, people here in the space that you kind of operate in, it's very easy to categorize what it is you kind of stand for and whatnot. How have, like, maybe not necessarily your mum, but maybe other adults within the African tradition, what has their perspective been like? Has there been anything expressed to you about anything you do, if that makes sense?
So I think with that, I'm in an interesting position because like I've grown up here and very isolated from like other family members who would obviously be the first people that would come to know about what I've got going on. The last time I went, like I briefly mentioned it to a couple family members. You got to suss them out. You don't want to be called like a flipping Satan worshipper or something. So I got to like, okay, who can I maybe introduce this to? But the few ones I did were like, no, it's demons. You're talking to demons. You're cuckoo. You're crazy. Like you need help. We'll take you to one of them prophets and whatever, and they'll sort you out. It's very much hit or miss. It's weird. It's so weird actually observing the culture from outside, because it's like in one breath, like the same auntie who has been like, you're talking to demons, you haven't got anything going on. She took me to like a spiritual healer to get rid of my demons using the same methods that I would use.
Interesting.
The cognitive dissonance is it's interesting to watch, I think.
Hypocrisy.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
So what is like the thing you would rebuttal then if people are quick to, throw these buzzwords at you? Like, I mean, I'm assuming a common one would be like,
demonic.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, what is your perspective on that?
My thing with that is, especially spirituality as a whole, I'm someone that believes everyone is going to have a very different experience of it. Everyone has got different elements of their own spirituality to explore in this lifetime. So when I am existing authentically, I'm not existing from a place of trying to convince anyone of anything or prove myself to anyone. It's either like you vibe with what I vibe with or you don't, and I can respect that. I just demand to be respected in return. Do you know what I mean? I think if I can respect maybe you not agreeing with certain things that I agree with or wanting to engage in certain practices that I engage in, cool, but I'd expect that same thing for me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What questions do you get most?
how one of the ones I get the most is like, oh, how do you know you're not just talking to demons, or like, how do you know this stuff works? And to be honest, like, it's interesting because like I grew up really scientific, 100% skeptic, like all this energy stuff. Not atheist. I grew up in a Christian house.
Did you believe in God?
Yeah, I was like here and there in Christianity until I was about 13, which is when I was like, okay, I'm not sure that I really align with this.
Interesting.
But I was still completely skeptic to spiritual concepts, energy, chakras. I was like, mate, you lot are nuts. Like, you need help. But then as I grew older and I started to have certain experiences, it comes to a point where it's like more absurd and more illogical to deny that there's something other than what like the West would suggest is our reality. Do you know what I mean? Like, as much as I can't necessarily explain everything I do, I know because I've experienced it up until certain points. My 5 senses, sight, scent, like touch, smell, they've never failed me. I've started to develop a new sense. Why shouldn't I trust it? Do you know what I mean?
Understandable.
Why shouldn't I trust my intelligence and my ability to rationalize my experiences? Do you know what I mean? It's about trusting your own intelligence, finding yourself.
Yeah. What was it at 13? What would you say was the switch? What was the thing that expanded your perspective on
like religion and stuff?
Yeah, or just you know, how I like. Well, I've come to terms with it recently. Existentialism. Yeah, because even with me, I'm very interested and curious about reality as a whole. So I've looked into many walks of life, and I understand that everything essentially is the same branch of the same tree trunk. If that makes sense. Just different ways to express it. Different. It manifests differently and whatnot. And it's like you just kind of find yourself coming to this. And it comes to this whole idea of like oneness. I say oneness. Whole. Everything's just
God.
Whole and complete, right? You essentially
piece of that one thing.
Precisely. Yeah. So what was it that kind of turned your switch when you was 13 at that age?
I think it was particularly the church I went to, actually. Like, they would spend all this time...
Was it Pentecostal?
Yeah, you know, African churches.
Yeah, it's like African churches.
UK African churches, I'm sure everyone knows. They would be preaching about like peace and loving your neighbour and compassion and care. Meanwhile, the preacher is like, you need to give your tithes and offerings no matter how little money you have, even if your fridge is empty. He's driving a Rolls Royce and there's people struggling to warm their houses and feed their children, and then you're feeding them all this hope when you literally have the means to help them, but you don't.
So did the priest put you off religion?
Yeah, and he was just so hypocritical. He was like, even the woman he married, like the woman of the church, was horrible. Like, she was nasty, horrible. Everyone had horror stories about her. Even he would stand up talking about, she did this, she did that. I'm like, this is not godly. Like, what is this? And it just, as I started to look at that, I just started to see people who were just trying to like mask their own shadows in the name of religion. Like, yeah, I'm a sinner, but it's okay because, you know, God will save me. Like, it's absolving themselves of accountability for who they are.
And what do you think the alternative better is?
Accountability. Do you know what I mean?
How do you find accountability?
Like that's why I take issue with religious people sometimes, because they have this tendency to be like, yeah, but it's okay because God. Like, I don't have a problem with religion, but don't be such
Do you know some good religious people?
Of course, without a shadow of a doubt. Like, I've had...
And what are they like?
Amazing people, do you know what I mean? It goes back to me saying, like, respecting people's faith. Because I won't sit here and say when I was a Christian, I didn't have these moments of connection to something or experience some feeling from outside of myself. I can feel its appeal. I've just found greater connections with other things, you know, with other energies and entities.
Interesting.
They align more with me in this life. Do you know what I mean?
So do you still believe in God?
Yeah, I think God's. I think, like we say about how it's all kind of expressions of the same different thing. Like, I mean, maybe I might not be a really good authority to talk about God like in a monotheistic framework, just because honestly, like, I just haven't really thought about it. It's just in the back of my head. But other comparisons I can make is like pantheons of God, like, you know, like Greek gods,
pagans,
pagan gods, and that, like all of these different cultures, they have the expressions of these energies just different. You've got your Hecate in one culture and then Oshun over there. Like,
But pagan gods are like is human characteristics worshipped, essentially.
Exactly.
But the problem with the pagan gods in the Greek and the Roman times especially is because what pleases Athena might anger Apollo. Whatever makes Zeus happy might make Poseidon angry. There was no harmony, there was no rules, there was no set. So it led to violence and destruction and decadence within these Roman and Greek societies. So when you look at monotheism, it was like one collective, like everyone's under one umbrella. There is a set ground of rules. And it's weird how society kind of comes together quick and evolves much quicker under one God.
I can definitely agree that there is a distorted perception on God as a whole, and really how individuals cling on to religion in their own ways as well. So it's interesting to think about. And you've heard compassion before. Do you think, would you say your mother's been compassionate with you amongst your transition, would you say? Because, you know, the stereotype with, you know, what you do and whatnot, it's very easy for them to just, they're just going to wild out. They're not even, and I don't think there's even a place where there's understanding in that, and when it comes to that realm of thinking, and you know what I'm saying?
I think I did get quite lucky in that respect, because on both sides of my family, they were gifted members of the family already. So it's not unfamiliar territory entirely. Like me approaching her like, look, Mum, I think I've got these things going on. It wasn't like a massive shock. Someone in the family was going to crop up with something for this generation. But like my mum, she just went straight to being my mum, innit? Being selfish. Like, well, if you've got this, you need to help me. What's wrong with me? Why aren't I rich? Yeah, like, and my dad he's much more of a skeptic. Every time I kind of discuss certain things, he's just like, well, we still need to see what's going on, you know.
Generational, you said. So is this something that your whole family's aware of, or you're aware of, that this is like a generational thing? Someone
so like some families will have more gifted people than others. Some it will be every couple generations.
Gifted with what exactly, would you say?
Different things, that's the thing. Like I said, the seraph, that's not the only thing that I work with. I don't actually channel that particular energy at all yet, because that's still something I'm working up towards.
To grow into.
But it is something I know is very dominant in my spiritual life. So I just went, you know what, that's where I'm working towards. That's what I'll call myself. But yeah, there's all sorts of different things. Like some people have gifts and it doesn't necessarily involve working with other people. It might just be like working
How
with
do you know when you have a gift?
It will be something you've always been good at. It will be something that has always lit you up. Like I've always known, like as I've grown up from young, I always said I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I wanted to help people. Like anyone that's known me for a long time, that's always been me. And I've always been someone that people can come to with their problems and talk to. And I've always been someone that just knows somehow the right thing to say at the right time, or somehow just knows when people need someone to talk to. Like,
so it sounds like are you like a teacher or a mentor, coach?
people look at me like that, but I guess that's maybe something.
How do you look at yourself?
Except, how do I look at myself? Interesting question. It's something I'm coming into, like, especially like with my upbringing and just self-concept in general, like accepting that maybe I am gifted and I have certain abilities. That's like, whoa, me? What? Nah, no, never. I would, what? Me? No, what? I would never. Like, that's too much. I'm not that special, but it is something I'm coming into, and it's weird. It's weird. Like, sometimes I feel arrogant talking about it. Like, yeah, I've got abilities and stuff, but it's not actually arrogant. It's
I think
just...
people want to know what the abilities are, because I'm itching to know as well.
Well, I don't know what I would even call it. Like, because I just read energy. Energy is just something, it's a language that I can just speak. You know, I tap into it. Sometimes I feel it physically. Like, when I've had really close friendships, I've had situations, or I never really tell them this because they'll freak the fuck out, but sorry. Like, we can hear each other's thoughts, and I test it out. Like, I'll talk to them. I'll say certain things and they'll respond. Like, they'll either respond to what I've said or they'll do the thing I've told them to do. And
it's like a connected intuition in a sense. Yeah,
exactly like that. I don't know. It's just abilities that I have, things that I'm capable of. It's also kind of new for
Capable
me.
of doing. Have you got any plans for your capabilities? Where do you think it would be best put to use?
I just want to keep working with people and helping people and talking to people. I think like that's my element, really, like tapping in and connecting with their energies. Like, and the thing is, it's like when people come to me for readings and whatever, they can't hide. They hear what they need to hear, even if it's painful. But I have a way with words. I can express painful things without hurting people.
So would you say you're a poet?
Do you know what? I was always really good at English. Always did good at English.
Sound like it. Do you read a lot?
As a kid, I
okay.
read a lot as a kid, yeah. But funny, you're talking about attention span. I try and read and it's like the words just swirl on the page.
Yeah.
That's swirl on the page,
It's like, whoa.
I just got like a weird...
Interesting.
So true.
Yeah, and even just to go over to that attention span, because you if for those that don't know, Riyadh's got like the Lyceum, you've got a group chat where we talk about philosophical things and whatnot, and we get in deep and whatnot. And I don't know if you've noticed, I've not actually said anything in the chat.
The chat's been active though.
I know.
So active. I was shocked how active it got.
Yeah, but this is my thing now because, for example, stuff like a pod, I've sectioned out 2 hours of the day to actually sit down and unwind these things and actually go into it. Now, obviously, when I joined the conversation, the chat, my initial thought was, here for it. Deep conversations just outside the pod, not just in the pod. But when I realise it's quite difficult because the frame of mind, I actually have to transition it over. And it's very tough where I'm on my lunch break and I've gone over and seen 74, chats of missed chats I have to recollect. And it's like, it's not the same because I want to unwind with you guys. I don't want to come to see...
Afterwards.
Right. So it's that, and then attention span, right? It's like, how do I even...
Well, if you prioritise wisdom, you would have been doing it. It's just a matter of priority.
But but then...
If you want to learn bad and you want perspective, new perspective, that bad as you say you
by
do,
all means, innit?
you'll do it. It's just like, it's the same with anything. If you want it and you want to learn, you want to do good things, 75 notifications will be like, okay, fine, it's worth it. You know? It's just not in your priority list, and it's okay because you're a busy guy, clearly. You know what I'm trying to say? And luckily in my spare time, I just make spare time to learn and read things. That's it. Youth is about planting as many seeds as you can into the future. 100%. I know I'm reading some things here now that are going to have no relevancy to today, but I know maybe 3-4 years it might start kicking in. So books is just a way of like, you know how you do your gym? That's how I see it for your mind. Yeah. Literally, like. But books are interesting. But I think you need to stop reading. So what I'll do is, I'm not an expert, by the way. I'm just a book lover. I'll go like, say 3 months, a book a week every week, and stop reading. Then I'll do another 3 months of no reading, but just writing. And what I'll find is when I'm writing, the thoughts and the ideas from the books I've read, they're starting to intermingle a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
It's like you harvest your own
thoughts.
Yeah.
Again, I got it from Letters of Van Gogh. And he said, it's not good to read too many books. It's better to find your own voice. And then when your voice goes quiet and you run out of things to say, that means you need to start learning of more things to say.
Yeah.
So, and there's some people that are head deep in the books 24/7. They know everything about the world, but they don't know how to apply what they learn to the world.
Of course.
Because there's a lot of trash information. Like, not trash, there's a lot of useful things you read, but
just clouded.
Where do I use it? You have to be, unfortunately, a bit savage with what you read. Yeah. What do I know? I don't know.
It's true though.
I don't know.
Interesting.
What knowledge is applicable in your real world life?
Yeah.
Well, knowledge is a word I think is thrown around a lot. It's good to be knowledgeable. Of course it is. Because knowledge kind of course, comes with practicality. But knowledge is power in the sense that it's only potential power. If you have knowledge of it and you don't use it, it's not powerful. It's kind of...
it's useless.
And the things with knowledge either, it's not like a sword on your hip where someone sees that you're a threat. No one knows who's knowledgeable. So being knowledgeable is quite a mask game. It could be hidden or shown. You know, it's not always on show, is it? You don't know who's knowledgeable by looking at them.
Yeah.
Now, that's always a trick, isn't it? When you see on social media, someone like in a hoodie, and starts speaking loads of stuff. You're like, wow, he knows how to speak. You're like, come on, man. Like, Yeah, knowledge is interesting, but what's better than knowledge is wisdom. Like, knowledge is just a collection of understandings of things. You know, we understand science, we'll build a whole topic called science, only dedicated to science things. Knowledge is like, it's called epistemology, really. It's a boring academic word, isn't it? But it's just like, just sections of knowledge. And it's just, when you open that section, you're just understanding the cause and effects. But wisdom is different. Wisdom is like, you know what's interesting about wisdom, yeah? Every single culture, society, nation, throughout human history, we've all discovered wisdom. In poetry, in its art, in its music. Everyone has recognized wisdom as a human species, you know? So this is like, arguably the first art ever is wisdom. And I don't know what the first wisdom is. It might be like, wake up, you know? Who knows? But man. So if that existed then, it worked in the 1800s, the 1600s, the 25 BC, it'll work in 2023.
Interesting.
I think I'm here.
I think
you'd definitely be right, I'd say, because it's like, I think no matter how far society and human life has developed, there are still fundamental experiences we all have. Like, absolutely. Having kids, that's not really changed. Like, that's nothing about that's changed. Like, raising a child, or like community or families, like those things have always existed, and those wisdoms like transcend whatever we go through as societies.
It's interesting. So it's just very interesting. We're so, technology blinds us as humans to what we used to be and what we're capable of. Like, you know what blows my mind is when you think of someone who used to do a dissertation, say 100 years ago before computers. I can't imagine how many books they would have on the desk.
You know what I'm saying? I know what you mean.
Have you ever seen there's like that old tool they used to have? It's like a wheel, so they could have loads of books.
Their intelligence was off the roof. We're not on the same. We just get it easier. And the question is, should we be grateful or should we be angry? Should we be... But I think it's just the human spirit that loves a challenge, you know. We look at the past and sense living in that time was a challenge, and we kind of want to prove that we can do what they can do.
But better.
Unfortunately, they win. Because But I guess in your own way, you can try and do what they used to do. That's why I'm trying to do a book a week. Oh man, it's not easy. Like the Xbox looks like, I'm like, man. But then read another book and it's just like, okay.
Sometimes just life though, when you've got responsibilities, that, like I said, the frame of mind, like, you know, it's like sometimes you're living two different realities. Do you ever feel like that sometimes, where you've got the thing you want to pursue, the thing you're passionate about, then the thing you have to wake up and do?
I think it's dangerous to split it into different realities. It's all one reality. It's the same one. Essentially. Because if you try and split your life into this reality, that reality, this reality, there's so many realities to manage, you're juggling all of them and you've confused yourself. If you assume all realities are just one sole reality, you know, it's better that way. Don't think of like Call of Duty multiplayer when you jump to all these different maps. Play more like being on one map, bro. Like, don't be jumping.
It's true. I hear that.
You can't split realities. That's what is probably dangerous about alcohol and weeds and stuff like this. Because people are sober, that's their one reality, which is the only reality you should ever be living. And then you get the second reality when you're always high. Then you get the third reality when you're drunk. And then you've got three different personalities. And it's no wonder why like a lot of personality split orders come out of like... And this is not for all people, of course. And I'm not a scientist. I'm not a numeric.
What do you think?
I would just contest with that. I mean, I think about the personalities thing. It goes back to what I was talking about with authenticity. It's like, I feel like maybe the reason that people have these different personalities under different things is because most people in today's world are using these things to escape the baseline, and not to enjoy them as we were meant to, like simple humans.
But the question is, escape to where?
Escape to somewhere away from the pain, the like weight of existence. Like exactly. Like when I drink because it's fun. Like I'm not running away. I know when I'm running away from things, and I know I'm different, but it's fun to me. Like,
do you think all people who drink want to run away?
Not all.
But do you think a lot of people drink to run away?
But I think a lot of people do, just because of the world we live in. Like a lot of people are living lives that make them unhappy, that make them want to run. Like they're just chasing a slither of happiness, and that's a cheap way to get it.
Just to ask you a devil's advocate question, because I don't see this get asked much. How much of it is their own responsibility?
Which?
Like if they're in a life they want to escape from. Of course, there's always the extreme, and obviously there's always people who are a burden of society, because it's not you always got evils everywhere you go. There's always holdbacks, but let's just talk about for the average person, and they're drinking to escape, but they've got a job, they live with their parents. Do you think it's a society fault that they're way, or is that their internal problems?
I think it's like Ouroboros, really, or double-edged sword maybe, because it's like, I suppose this is me being overly compassionate. Like, I sympathise with people like struggling with the weight, because I know the weight is heavy. Like, and when you're in that place, it's really hard to do the productive things you can do to get yourself out. Like, it's easier to just escape or push it away for a little bit. But then in that same breath, like, if you want different, you have to do different, you know? But I think it's maybe people of today lacking that strength to pull themselves out of that dark place. Because
how would you say they can gain strength to pull themselves out?
That's a hard one. That's a hard one. I definitely don't claim to have all the answers.
No.
Like, I'm
It's
still on
nice
that journey myself, but
it's kind of what you kind of touched on before. I think it's within.
yeah,
really,
it's something
just
you
look
have to
look
find
within the
yourself,
baselines within.
Like, exactly. Like, I feel
nothing
like
external.
maybe in today's world, people look outside of themselves for the solutions too much. But like, for example, a crap job, sometimes quit that job. What is your passion? What lights your heart on fire? Yeah, you're not going to make £1 million or like your steady £2,000 a month from your desk job, but you're going to be happy. The wealth you'll have inside of you will be invaluable. Like, the money will mean nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like,
It's hard to think like that in a capitalist society, man.
It is. Like, with what I do, like, the money's not great, I'm not going to lie. But I know that's just me needing to grow my platform, because I have friends with bigger followings and they're sweet, they're good. But I'm happy, like, and the thought of going back to like a 9 to 5.
Daunting.
How about no?
Yeah.
Like,
We're not shitting on 9 to 5s, by the way.
I'm not putting
do your
on it.
thing,
Like,
man.
I think there's a
thing.
lot of strength in that, but it's strength that I've been there, done that. I'm good. I'm good. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't have the money in my bank account, but in here, I'm really fucking wealthy. Like,
yeah, interesting. Referring back to analysis of energies, who do you find yourself analysing out of masculine and feminine energies? And also, to add on that, what are the profound differences, or what are like the common things that you read in guys or in females, for example?
do you know what I would say? If you're asking me about what's common, I think a lot of people, masculine or feminine, people lack self-worth. Like, self-worth, self-love is the root of a lot of different things in your life, how you're operating in almost every different facet of your life. Like, in your career, if you don't think you're deserving of, maybe you don't think you deserve a high-paying job, you're going to convince yourself with all stupid reasons not to apply for those high-paying jobs, even if you're overqualified. Do you know what I mean? Or like in love, I don't deserve like a fully happy relationship. So you settle for someone that doesn't make you happy, or a relationship that has issues in it. It stems with self-worth. I find that it just expresses differently. Like, women, I think, women, it tends to be really internalized, I would say. Like, the way they behave, the questions they ask, it's something you can read in how they talk about themselves even. Like, you don't even need to be an energy reader. You can just, if you just know people, you can see that. But then men is very outward. Like, their low self-worth, they project that onto other people. It's like I find, like, I remember I get it all the time where men like come into my lives on TikTok and they'll be like, oh, is she gonna come back? And then I'm picking up the energy, and he's been absolutely horrible to this woman. He's abused her horribly, but now she's finally stood up for herself. It's like, what?
It rattles us.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What? Like, excuse me, I deserve to bully you. Like, come back here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas women, I don't know. But I think self-worth and self-love issues are rife in today's society, and I think if more people loved themselves and respected themselves, they'd be better able to love each other and respect others. Do you know what I mean? We're all just projecting and reflecting our internal worlds outwardly. So
yeah.
Can women show that externally as well, project onto others?
Yeah, of course. I'm just saying what I've observed, really, but I think my experience is very limited. I think there's a planet of a lot of us.
That's true.
I can only speak on my very small section of the world that I've touched.
Yeah.
I try not to generalize anything, really.
Has there ever been times throughout your life where you maybe experienced the lack of self-love? Was there something you had to, a journey you had to maybe go through to, reach this point of blissfulness?
Absolutely. Like growing up, I think, I grew up with my mum, who is someone who really hated herself. Like, this is something I can observe now outside of it. But she hated herself, like, a lot. And I feel bad for her a little bit, but I feel more bad for the little girl that had to take on all of those mindsets and perceptions of myself because of someone else's woundedness. Do you know what I mean? Like, edit this out if it's too problematic, but like body shaming, I can use that as a really good example. My mum is a plus size woman. She's a bigger lady. I've always been much smaller than her, like, but she grew up telling me I was way too big and like disgusting and horrible and look at this, why is that like that? So even with that, as a young child, like, I'm looking at someone who's bigger than me telling me I'm too big. Like, I felt terrible and disgusting. I spent a really long time struggling with my body. Like, as it is now, I've lost a lot of weight, but I still look in the mirror like, I ordered a dress in a size small and it's too big. I'm like, what do you mean it's too big? Because I see something else in the mirror sometimes. But obviously that's a journey, like, I've worked on, and I'm in a much healthier place, much better place. Like, but that's what I'm saying about projection and reflecting. Like, if I hadn't done that internal work to unpick that, I would have lived the rest of my life thinking that, like, there is something inherently wrong with me or the way I look or anything like that. And that's just one example. Like, even my intelligence is something she questioned, or like me having abilities, like stuff like that, or like my spirituality. All of these things when I was young and forming were like talked down on or like spoken negatively to, and I ended up internalizing that, and that was my identity, and really and truly my experiences reflected that internal world I had.
I think people definitely undermine how our parents are essentially our first mirror. They're our first reflection of ourselves and the reality we're a part of. And a lot of parents, the ability to look within, they definitely maybe naive, or just the ability to think that to think beyond the narrow perspective on they have on reality as a whole. I think that's just something that should be looked at, really. Or I don't know, it's just I
think it's a massive, I don't know how deep into it you want to get, but I really do feel, especially as Africans, I can only speak on our experience at least, colonialism and the like emotional and social effects of that have done like really deep damage to our family systems and who we are as Africans and what we stand for and what we believe in. Like, if you look at like African principles before all of these things, there's so much more about accepting yourself as you are, being authentic, being real, expressing yourself truly, and we've lost that. Like, we've completely lost that.
I think it's called African diaspora.
The diaspora, like, we have lost that, and I think it's sad, and like, that's why I'm grateful for my journey, because it's all about going back to who we really are. I can vibe with that. I can vibe with true Africanness. I don't know.
Would you ever move back?
Yeah, I want to. I want to ideally like raise my kids there, have my family there. But I don't know. I'm open to see what the journey brings. Maybe I'll probably spend some time out there, sometime somewhere else. Yeah, man.
Yeah, family structure is mad important. You need one.
Yeah.
Okay. And then when it comes to, so obviously, starting a family, you'd need a husband. How has dating been like, with your walk of life and your perspective on reality? And I want to actually turn this over to you, Riyad, as well, because, when I had you on the pod last time, actually, a lot of individuals were questioning, like, this guy is very, is he really like that? Is he really? I'm like, guys, off the camera, this is him, innit? Do you know what I mean? And it just got me thinking, like, wow, so how do you ever like have any issues? And I'd assume not, but
just like, how it is,
man. Yeah,
like,
do you have like
God.
your ability to connect, or when engaging with relationships and whatnot, has that been an obstacle, maybe, that ability to connect with you, or understand you? Or do you ever do people maybe struggle to come to your level of...
No, don't say that.
Yeah, I don't mean do you know what I'm saying? But
no.
What's your experience? Yeah. What's your experience been like in that sense, in that regard? Is it something you're aware of, or do you ponder on it?
It's a heavy question, man. Damn. Okay, where do I go with this? Well, first of all, like, my life growing up as a kid, I was always like, in school, very misbehaved.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I'm actually planning to do a podcast episode of all my school reports from year 7. Yeah, like year 4, year 5, year 6, year 7. I've got all of them. Like at school, I was always a loud kid, very attention-seeking young man. Definitely like ADHD, but I don't like to say ADHD because I was just a young kid, man. Don't put me in some personality disorder box. Yeah. I'm more than a category, you know.
Yeah.
So I was always fidgeting in class. But I was in school. School was cool, man. But I would say my ability to connect with people, I say this is what really okay, yeah, I've never actually thought about this till now. So growing up, I was obviously, my dad's Algerian, and so I was in North African, and I used to go see my dad every weekend in Al Kent Road, but I couldn't speak Algerian, innit, So I'd be sitting around the table with these, like, the coffee shop, and they're all speaking Algerian, laughing. I'm like, So I have to literally like blend in, bro. Yeah. So I can't be. I didn't want to. My pride was so high as a kid. I didn't want to look like that kid like this. Yeah. So I was always like blending in, like trying to. So I used to read their body language a lot. I'm thinking, I don't know what they're talking about because I can't understand the lick of this Arabic stuff. But I'm gonna try and guess their convo. And I said to my dad, like, Dad, did you not talk about? Was you talking about something? I had a disagreement about something, and that this coffee is better than that one. He goes, no, yours close. He just wanted more sugar. I'm like, I'm like, okay, I'm getting it.
Close enough. Yeah.
So yeah, like that made me a very observant person growing up as a kid.
Interesting.
But during school, I was always a bad kid, but not rude. Never F off, miss, go away. Okay. I was just gonna shut up, man. Like the teacher got quiet, and I'm just like itching to talk again, you know.
Yeah.
But I would say what made the differences is when I was 18, 19, because the only social things I was getting, was from my boys and just girls, bro. I was just chatting to 1 million girls at 18, 19. Like it was, like I said it so many times on my own podcast, it was like a part-time bloody job, man. Like literally. And I guess when you talk to girls, man, one thing you guys cannot deny, it makes you a better speaker. Absolutely it does. Because girls, they throw challenges at conversation, and I wasn't conscious of this at the time. I'm just looking back at it and I just noticed it. So at the time, they throw a shot and you're like, yeet, and you try to say something back. You know what I'm saying? And I guess that makes you better. Yeah. And if you look at a lot of salesmen, when they go to bars at night time, they kill it, bro. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. Anyway, I don't know where I'm going with that point. But socialise with people.
Like ever too, not to say too philosophical, but you know.
No, because people like it though.
They do.
They
do. Okay.
They actually like it. Yeah. Because people, this is why I started the podcast, really, because you talk philosophical with people, even strangers and stuff. I'm surprised how willing they are to answer it. Like I'll ask them a question like, what do you think of this? Or they'll be telling me a life story and I always say, what makes you say that? And they get so, and I know it feels like a weight off their chest to speak. So I think it's nice to be a good listener. Yeah. Especially listen to someone's philosophical view of the world. Doesn't have to be right, but seeing them like
different perspectives.
They'll start off the beginning saying something, and they'll be talking religious, and by the end of it, they're talking completely something different. I'm thinking, wow. Like they're discovering their own thought. They're not even thinking of me anymore. They're just talking to talk to themselves. And then like a lot of the things you say, if I'm giving advice to you, it's more likely for me. You know? So that's why it's good to ask people these questions and shut up. And watch them give themselves advice. And you just have to say to them, you should practice what you preach. Yeah. And they'll be like, oh, maybe I should. Maybe my advice is for me. And that's it. But because philosophy is nice. I've got a podcast about it.
Yeah. Check it out, guys. I see on podcast. Cold. And then as for you then, how was that? Like, do you guys ever get a bit iffy? Because, you know, are they ever like at arm's length with how they approach you and whatnot? Or
I think my dating life has been interesting. I think before my spiritual awakening in general, like what I can say is I only had 3 relationships. I had my awakening in the middle of my last one, but all of those relationships taught me something very different and very fundamental to like who I am as a woman and what I look for and what I want and what I believe about relationships. But then when it comes to like after my awakening and like going out in the world again, being like, okay, boyfriend time. Like my ancestors had none of that. None of that. Like I say, I read energy, so maintaining my energy in a certain place is very important. It's like I won't even be allowed, like they would rather make me so anxious that I don't leave the house at all than me going out, meeting someone, interacting with someone and pouring all this energy into someone who's only going to like mess me up and throw me off of.
What's your ideal man?
My ideal man, like someone understanding, they don't even necessarily have to believe the things I believe or be on the things I'm on, but open-minded and like respectful of all the different walks of life. I don't know, someone strong that's like, I suppose maybe what you'd call a traditional man in that sense. But yeah, like, but I find that's just because of me. Like, I'm a very feminine woman, so I look for my opposite. I look for a very masculine man. It's all about where you lie in your balance, you know, what would balance you out oppositely outside of yourself.
Well, what's your ideal woman?
Ideal woman. I agree with you saying someone that challenges me to an extent. The only problem is it's a thin line between toxic and challenging now in this day and age. Like,
no, it's between you and your missus. Who cares what anyone else thinks?
It's true, yeah. But I think, someone that challenges me to an extent, someone that provides me with growth. Because one thing I always say, I wake up striving for new perspective. What don't I know already? What can I learn? Tell me something I don't know. Because, for something like, for me and the missus to get on well, it has to be, I have to want to be around her. So for me to want to be around you, I have to be curious. I have to be interested in you. I have to want to be around you. So with that, it would be definitely someone that I want to invest into, essentially. I want to pour my energy into her, basically. Yeah, definitely. And I think, and then thinking about challenges as well, actually, I've been pondering on this recently as well, because I'm an individual. I'm very, individualism. I'm very comfortable with my own company.
You have to be.
Right.
That's the basis for, I think, any healthy relationship, because then you're not looking for someone to fulfill you. That fulfillment is within yourself. Someone who just brings something that you don't have.
It's paradoxical though, because there's times where I'm too okay with my own space. So it gets to the point where someone could be around me and I'm getting a bit agitated, like, you're in my space. Like,
that's just being overstimulated. That's normal.
It's normal, you think?
Oh, you're not ready.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think it's you got to observe your own energy, because I call that overstimulation, to be honest. Like, because it's not that you don't like the person or you don't like the company of people. You just want to return to your own energy.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Definitely that.
That's okay. Like,
then definitely requires an element of understanding from them. That's the
You're not ripened yet, man. That's what it is. We're just young men, bro. We ain't done nothing with our lives yet.
Yeah.
You have to. You can't force the blossoming. That's it. Just let it
flow. Yeah.
Just let it open, man.
Yeah.
But that just sounds too, spiritual and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean it poetically. All imagery, similes, metaphors. That's me, man.
Oh, it's interesting. And it's like, even then I've heard, like, because at the end of the day, I mean, God forbid, if I'm on my deathbed, what is it I'm going to be seeking in them moments? Is it going to be, the thing that I'm striving for in life, or will it be genuine love and affection?
Do you know how you view your life after death is predeterminism of your own life? How you pick, how you see the afterlife will determine how you live for the rest of your life. I think is actually the first thought you must have. How do you see life after death? If you don't think you're going to go anywhere after death, then your life is going to be much more short-term pleasure orientated. Because there's nothing for the bigger picture. If you think, you reincarnate into a special energy, you're more likely to be kind, compassionate and nice. Because hopefully on the other side of life, you're going to get, so if you're a person that's depressed or lost, or if you don't know where you are, just see how you view your life after death and try to draw the parallels to where you are today. You actually might find quite a lot, I would argue. But
that's interesting.
On a higher note, though, I'll show my ideal woman, though, yeah? Okay.
I'll go. It's got to get list out, scroll.
Okay, step one. She can't be an atheist, but I don't care what you believe in. No atheism. You logical, scientific thinkers. All you see is what's in front of you. Logic. If you're a theist, you believe in something, you must have an imagination, because I think atheists just lack imagination. That's my opinion on it. Number 2. Ready for this one? Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be a mic drop.
No, it's nothing that. Just a family girl, man. You know, not obsessed with your family like you're like Cinderella running around now scrubbing all the walls. You don't need to be like that type of girl.
Yeah.
But you value family. Because if you value one family, you might value our family. Okay. Number 3, a goal. Because what I think happens in relationships, especially young ones, there might be 2 couples who come together and they don't have a goal. So they make each other their goals. And they never leave each other because they're always each other's goals. Even when they break up, the goal was to get back together. So coupleless goals make each other their goals. So you have to have an external goal. In other words, it's an insurance policy to leave me alone. You know what I'm trying to say?
Identities outside of the relationship.
Right. Oh.
And I will stay there for now.
Yeah.
Yeah. A green flag though, yeah? It's when the girl talks about her past romantically. It's nice. She goes, when I was a kid, this is nice. When she talks very positive about her past, it shows she's open to more positive experiences. Because if you value positive experiences, you want to talk about positive experience because today, this will be something we could talk about 5 years from now.
Yeah.
You know, if you are always talking about my past is this, man, I went through this, I've been through that, you're not ever going to see the good in me.
Yeah.
And last point, and this is a question like I always said. Actually, no, we've got to wrap it there.
I agree. I definitely am big on like retrospectiveness. I always look within, and I love like I always see my life as an experiment. How what's made me become the person I am today. I love going into those conversations. What's made you the person you are today? Yeah. What can we relate on in that sense?
But why do you ask? Why is that interesting to you?
Because
you have to be trying to find something.
You can learn a lot from how people have responded to
situations. Yeah, I think again, you know, it's kind of like a different perspective, isn't it? What don't I know? So obviously, I've you know, this experiment that I'm currently experiencing within myself is like, okay, there's only so much notes I can gather. You're a whole nother experiment in yourself. So that's why when you know an individual's gone through so much growth, or they've reached the stage of mental clarity within themselves, I'm like, what have you gone through? What have you gone through? How have you got to this point? I'm keen to see, and you know, patterns. I want to it just intrigues me. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just very into that stuff. You know. Yeah. So depth is definitely, but then you know, not everyone's in the mood for depth. Sometimes people just want to know.
Because let's be honest, I feel like depth does come with a lot of dark experiences. So you have to have.
Well, there's loads of different types of depth.
The space to hold it. I think. I think in today's world, that's where most people find it. Because happy people, if we're being real, most of them are chasing more happiness. They're not really chasing growth up here. Or
Most of growth up here is happiness.
Well, I think happiness is an elevated emotion, and I think if you're striving for an elevated emotion, that's not a healthy place. You need to strive for balance. You need to strive for content. You know, like happy or sad, it's as above, so below. You wanna find your middle ground, your flow. Can't be happy 24/7. That's really unrealistic.
Oh yeah, and that would be like a Ket Rush or something, man. 24/7, you know. But I don't know. You see, with happiness, like I said, it's just a new thing we're obsessed about. I think. I don't know, man. Happiness to me is just whatever you want it to be. Who am I to judge? Who am I to say?
Yeah,
but
exactly that.
Then again, you can't always applaud everyone's happiness. No. Because they might look happy, but you see bigger picture. I think to be a good friend, you have to be your friend's artist for them. You have to paint their life for them because they won't be able to see bigger picture. It's your job as a friend to say, this is what you think your life is going like this, but this is me as your friend, how I see it. Here's the picture.
Yeah.
And now I have to teach you as a friend, we have to interpret your picture together. You know? And the aim of the game is to make you think, how was I happy this whole time? Really? I have to get my shit together. Yeah. Sorry, didn't mean to swear. But you're winning 3-1 though.
Let's go scoreboard.
Yeah, you got really 3-1 now.
I'm trying my best. I am holding it in. Like.
No, it's mad difficult though, isn't it? I'm not even mad, I'm just like, fuck.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are waking up to this idea of like, you know, happiness is a choice, not something you strive for. I experienced that as well at one point. You know, when I was, it's been a journey in terms of just self-development, right? It was them ones happiness is it's a state. You choose happiness. You don't chase it. You don't
Your friend said it best, man.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't heard it really as good as that before on your podcast. He said a lot of these people are trying to use happiness to monetize off people's sadness.
Yeah.
When he said that, I felt that. I was like, wow, that's a really good point, bro.
Give like an attainable goal to chase.
What they can't get in reality, give them in fantasy.
Word.
Word.
On my book, yeah?
Yeah.
2 years' time.
Yeah. No, it's true, honestly.
I don't know, man. This world is just... You know what it is, yeah? It's just to get something off my chest. When you go on Instagram, there's always heroes and villains and, you know, like, this person done this wrong, this person is this victim, and the comment section are the judge, jury, and executioner, you know? I think a comment section is a really good way to learn people's real thoughts and what they value. Even when they say a comment, 10,000 people like this. It's a top comment. The people... It's a way of democracy in a really weird way.
Definitely.
But, of course, it's flawed because people's comments get deleted. Some are not allowed. So it's still like democracy, actually, when I think about it.
Yeah.
But, so end of the day, it's like... You're just as bad as me. You're just as bad. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. Why do we all pretend... We're all much better, you know. But
I think that is life. I think we're all born not perfect. We're all born broken, and it's this constant process.
But I disagree with what I just said. Oh my God.
Yeah. I would say broken.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't say broken.
I wouldn't say broken.
What would you say then? Maybe just.
I think what I would say is like, I've come to a place where I try to accept like all of the facets of reality, so like the good, the bad, the ugly. And what I believe is like, for example, like I know in my head, probably because my mum was like, I can be really judgy sometimes, but I have the discernment to know that my judgment and those negative behaviours and traits I have are not anyone else's problem. So I am mindful of how I then behave and how I express outwardly to other people around me. I never want anyone to feel judged by me because that's not fair. Like, I think I could look at that like, yeah, I'm broken, I'm a judgmental person, but no, I'm just a human. Do you know what I mean? Humans are multifaceted things and flaws, it's inherent
to
our
like humans?
nature. Do I like humans?
You are one after all.
I am one, yeah.
But you have to... There's a question, don't it?
I guess I think... Do you know what? Yeah, I do. I guess maybe that's a flaw that I have in some way because I'm really like optimistic and fantastical sometimes. And as someone who reads energy, sometimes I lean too much into a person's energetic potential and how good they can be. And I will be overly patient or ignore what they are in reality. Like, because I can just see that about you. I can see like you have so
are you
much
one of those
in you.
people like there's no point getting to know people because you can just read them straight away?
That's probably why I don't have many friends, just because I guess it's two sides of a coin, because it's like I could like you and get along with you, but if I could just know that we're not going to be in each other's lives that long, or like we don't really align, I won't pour my energy into that. Do you know what I mean?
Would you argue that short-term thinking?
I suppose... Not really, though. I don't know, because it's not like it's something I actively push away, but it won't be something I'll go out of my way to nurture, do you know what I mean? Like, if we hang out, we'll have the best time ever, but probably won't see me calling you up to be like, oh my God, did you see that thing on Love Island? Like, do you know what
Just
I mean?
when I see you when I see you.
Yeah, I see you when I see you. Like, I just have that knowing when people are going to be around me for long. I have that knowing when people are about to leave my life as well.
So you'd rather prevent it than react to it, essentially?
I guess maybe just not get so attached. Because, yeah, I am like a lover. I do. Yeah, I think maybe that's me awakening to something about myself. Like, because I know that's probably not the healthiest thing. Because I wish I did have more friends, even if they don't necessarily last forever. But I guess I'm just, like, scared of losing people. Like, because I care. If you get close to me, like, I care. I value you a lot. And then knowing you're just going to go anyways. It's like, that was pointless.
Attachment issues,
really. Yeah.
So you can call it that.
Yeah, I'm learning detachment. I am learning detachment for sure.
I think you can stay attached.
Yeah. It's why I don't bother dating, because it's like I just know most of these people, like 90% of them, I will not speak to past like a first date. It's a waste of my time. That's how I view it.
Yeah, the dating game is interesting nowadays.
Yeah, even that pool.
It's so interesting. But it's good and bad in its own ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, do you feel like, I feel like we learn the best in experience and like things.
Absolutely, for sure.
Starving yourself of experience and like.
I don't know. It's not that I starve myself. I just find that the experiences I do have, I guess this is just me being on a journey. Like they're kind of fantastical. Like I meet people when I'm meant to meet them. Like I have friendships with people and I'm meant to have them. Like they're not something I have to go out of my way and look for. Do you know what I mean? When I need people, somehow our paths will cross.
Yeah.
Like I've had, like I'm saying, like this one girl in particular, we were good friends. Like she was someone I could kind of lean on as a spiritual mentor of sorts because she was older than me, like further ahead in her journey with like the traditional side of things. We stopped speaking, not really sure why, but she appeared in my life, funnily enough, 2 days after I had just finished praying, like I need someone like this. 2 days later, I got a message like, oh, I heard your call, what's up?
Whoa.
What's the thing? Like, yeah, but we're not friends now. But I needed her at that time. So it's like, I don't know. I guess I don't know if it's attachment issues because when these things do come into my life, I don't run from them. Or
do you worship anything?
Nah, I wouldn't say I worship anything, no. No.
Do you believe in the devil?
I believe in negative energies and entities. I wouldn't, or I don't know, a devil as such. It depends what framework you'd be asking me of a devil, because then, like, if you're saying like, a devil
just
like,
say a negative
Satan,
force in
like,
nature.
Absolutely, but maybe
You can
not
call
in
it
one
the devil or
concentrated form, like.
Yeah.
And I think.
Obviously, I'm not saying do you believe in the guy with a pitchfork.
Yeah, like
Just
one
saying, like,
concentrated devil.
the doings of the
entity,
devil. Let's say the devil's deeds.
Evil, negative works. Yeah, but I think duality is just like. It's a man-made concept. It's a 3-dimensional concept. Like good and bad only exists because we perceive good and bad. Like outside of this flesh, good and bad is nothing.
So morality is just a made-up concept?
It is, but I think we should still be moral, like because we are 3-dimensional. We are limited to this reality. So we do have good and bad, you know, and you should want to be a good person. You should strive to be a good person.
So concepts are good? So concepts are good?
They can be.
But we can become prisoned by concepts.
Everything is a concept.
Yeah.
Reality is a concept. You know,
we definitely become chained to concepts though. Like
we are a concept.
Yeah. In fact, even thinking about concepts, stuff like identity. Let me ask this: if someone calls you a female, are you offended? By the way,
depends on tone, really. I'm mindful of tone.
Because
I can understand when people are saying like, because there is men who will say, "Oh, you females," and they'll use it in a certain way. Of course, like that's gonna make me like, "You walk up." No, you what? You rude person. But if you're just like casually talking like, "Oh, I was with this female," I don't like it because I just think it's bad vocabulary. Like I'm a woman.
Someone else said that as well.
A woman or girl, like why call me a female? But I'm not gonna. I should be like, okay, weird word, but whatever. I'll move past it. It's definitely tone for me. Like,
yeah.
Like someone the other day, one of my friends was like, "Oh, will you get offended if I call you like woman?" I was like, tone. If he goes, "Oh, you stupid woman," of course I'm gonna get upset. But if you're just like, "Yo, woman," I am a woman. What's up? I don't know.
Do you find it like belittling?
No. I'm very confident and comfortable in my womanhood. Like if they're belittling me, that's on them. I'm a woman. I'm all women, and I feel powerful in that.
Yeah. No, someone I used the term female on something I posted, and someone said you can't use that. It's degrading. I was like, how? Like, it just is. It's like that doesn't answer my question.
I can see the perspective. I guess.
What does it derive from though? Like I want to genuinely know because we're males, and you know, thinking about the Bible, God took a limb of Adam to give to Eve. So female. I don't know. That's just kind of how that's the vision that comes to mind. So I was like, I mean, yeah, we're males. You're females, no? Like, what's the?
Yeah, but I think as well, like especially UK like culture. Female started as a bad thing. Like it did. It was like, these females are so annoying. That's where the word stemmed from. That's what brought it into like pop culture and like general common like language. But the idea is, I do believe from what I understand, it's like you only really call things male and female when you're referring to animals. Like, that's a male sheep, that's a female sheep. Like, it's that attachment to animalism that some people don't like. Because if you're describing a human, the term is woman or girl. It's always been woman or girl. Why female? That's the point that some women make. I don't really care.
I don't think it's a point.
But this goes back to what I was talking about like self-worth, self-love, self-identity and self-concept. Because you're only really going to take offence to it if you have things inside you that are internally triggered by someone outside of you perceivably disrespecting you. Like, obviously I will get annoyed if someone goes, oh, you flipping female, but that's because you're being rude to me, not because I'm triggered by that. Don't be rude to me. Of course I'm going to get annoyed at you.
I think that's also that's a similar perspective I share with like individuals that cling on to depression. So you know, someone might feel easily, or they're quite quick to feel offended with depression, because I feel like, you know, someone will say something offensive and it's like, on the forefront of your mind, you're telling yourself, I'm a depressed individual. So the minute someone lightly strokes, outbreak, but it's because you're literally clinging onto the identity of a depressed individual. You're feeding that concept to yourself. I'm a depressed individual, and as a result of that, the pushback's likely to be more than someone else. And it's like, it's all down to, again, I guess, self-perception, self-concept, which
concept again.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Everything's a concept. Concepts. You sometimes have to lie about concepts to, you know, make your life easier. Lying makes your life easier. If you lie and don't live by the truth, it's easier that way. Because the truth demands your best.
Interesting. How are you thinking?
I was thinking the cogs are turning. If you lie, it makes your life easier. It's best to live by lying, is what you agree?
I'm saying it can make your life easier.
Oh, okay. Actually,
and it does make people's lives easier, lying to themselves.
Does.
And it seems to what view you're looking at it too.
What you look at
as in manipulation?
Easier.
It's not manipulation. A lie could be...
Because then you're creating results based on falsehoods.
Say you're broke and you live rich. You're lying to yourself that you're living rich. You're rich, sorry. You're lying that you're rich. Oh, yeah, don't worry about that. I'll pay for it. Yeah. £22.50 left in my bank account.
Yeah.
You know, oh, look at this new clothes I got. Really, you got it from DHgate. I don't care about material. I'm not a designer, materialistic guy at all. But I'm just saying, it's an example of lying. Living a lie. It makes your life easier. People rate you. You get into clubs. You get more girls. You get more guys. You know?
I think that's maybe what's fundamental, or one of the fundamental wrongs in society, is because people aren't willing to have that from authenticity, and that's why people will be perpetually unfulfilled, because they are playing a role.
Do you think people in society have got an incentive not to be authentic?
Yeah, absolutely.
100,000%.
Because we glorify one way of living, we glorify one way of being. Like,
literally, I was getting into this with someone where we were talking about, like, you know, we kind of touched on this in our last pod, creativity versus capitalism, right? You know, I was referring to how, you know, individuals maybe within our age bracket, you know, there's people that are getting a bit of bread, getting a bit of income, and you know, the spaces they find themselves in, the club culture and whatnot, obviously they're pulling the girls, they're buying the drinks, they're you know, after, right, that's all glorified. But a creative that's maybe, you know, not necessarily getting much income as a result of their creativity, but they're fulfilled in that sense, they're not necessarily winning in that regard. So again, they will find themselves playing this inauthentic role, this role that's not them, in order to, you know, even simple 9 to 5, like doing an office job, you wake up, that's not what you want to do, that's not fulfilling to you, yet you find yourself, like, you're lying to yourself, you're playing this role in order to fill a void in this other aspect of reality, which in the grand scheme of things doesn't mean anything, or isn't you know, isn't significant, dare I say.
Yeah, but, you know, I've noticed it's not about getting rid of... You can't say to society, stop glorifying something. They'll glorify it even more. Yeah. It's about taking those who glorify it and pointing their attention somewhere else.
Back towards themselves,
Or somewhere else. Because, you know, people say the body and the mind, right and wrong, up and down, beauty and ugly. well, internal, external are just as important.
Yeah.
I think the internal can actually make you lost and too involved in yourself. It creates narcissism for sure, because you think you're the only truth and you have all the truth. It could be, looking externally reminds you of how dumb you are, how much you know nothing. Like, I could fill more libraries of books I've never read than books I've actually read, you know? So when you go externally, you should seek things that enforce the internal. You can't enforce the internal within. You know, you need help. What is a society? What is a civilization? It's people coming together, external help, you know, that buries the internal worries. So, and it's the same with self-development. You can't just sit there and write poetry all day. Trust me, I've done it. It just turns you into a psycho because you think you know it all, but you don't. And then if you value internal so much, you stop listening to valuable external wisdoms. And there's another thing that goes around saying everything's a subjective truth. It's your truth. If it's yours, it's fine. If you say that, you're kind of getting rid of the idea of truth in the first place. Because if everyone's got a personal truth, what is a collective truth then? We're all different. There's no unity anymore. It's just your opinion, your opinion, your opinion.
Yeah.
You get rid of the idea of truth. We all become self-proclaimed gods.
Wow.
We proclaim ourselves as gods. And that's the dangerous thing about spirituality, I would say. Not all, but some.
Trips.
Yeah, ego trips. But yeah, because spirituality... What I've noticed with a lot of spiritual people, especially online, and I have to be very careful because they're not all the same, and spiritual is such a broad. So I have to.
I'll be very honest.
Careful.
You kind of destroyed my stereotype. The stereotype I had on the crystals and all of that. Like I always, is it?
Yeah.
I always feel like they are in a sense trying to play God. Like they're trying to
Yeah, you can't blame God. That's what the devil does.
Right.
He plays God. And I'm not religious, but religious wisdom is just so relatable. I can't help it, man. Like you can say I don't like religious wisdom is is special, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Like just so many little stories in there. You're like, they're too powerful. Like one of my favorite ones is the Book of Job. Like this one here, Job is just a guy, who believed in God. Like he was so dedicated. He had a wife, family, he was good land. Because he was so loyal to God, God blessed him in life, yeah? So Job was balling at 50, 60. Not rich, but very happy, yeah? But as the story goes, the devil said to God, he only believes in you because you give him stuff. The God was like, you think so, yeah? Let's make a bet. I'm going to take everything away from him. And there's like a little deal. I can't remember the context of the deal, but Job said... not Job, sorry. The devil said, there's a bet on the line. So God kills his wife, kills his family, he loses all his land, he becomes homeless, rock bottom. But till the end, Job goes, no, I believe in God, I believe in God, I believe in God. And it's one of those stories to show you that, you have to have a faith in something that's strong. And it's just like, if it's not showing you rewards, you have to keep pushing forward, I guess. Kind of like Job. But some people out there might say, I'm misrepresenting the story. It's just how I took it.
Yeah.
But it's a very complicated story, as all biblical stories
and
are.
stuff like that, that's what makes me go like how do you... That's why I said yesterday on my live, like, I don't have a problem with religion, I have a problem with people who like blindly and word for word take it, because even just that story alone, to me, if you're telling me, okay, I want you to worship this entity, but just to prove that you believe in him, he will kill everything you love, take away everything you love, just to prove to someone else that's got nothing to do with you that you believe in them.
That's a fair rebuttal. But the point of the story is to show you should live by the soul, not by the body. Body desires mean nothing. Your clothes, your house, that doesn't mean anything. Job lives by his soul. So it doesn't matter if he's got no material in his hands, he has nothing left, he still lives by his soul. He still lives by love. Yeah. He doesn't get resentful, he doesn't blame society, he doesn't blame him, his neighbour, the government. He just keeps focusing on his soul's growth. Because when you die, obviously in religious stories, they say your soul is immortal. It goes on and on and on. So if the soul is immortal, you have to live by the immortality of your soul. Your body's got nothing to do with anything.
You have to stay true to who you are beyond the body.
Yeah, exactly. Even when Moses walked up to the burning bush, he took his sandals off. his feet touch the ground. No material, nothing to disconnect you from the earth. Because material disconnects you from everything.
Right. Yeah.
But I say this, we're on a Nike trackie, so don't judge me, guys. And if you ever see me drive a nice car, shut up. I don't want none of this, like, oh, this guy, he talks so saintly. I'm not perfect. I'm a sinner too. And I don't even know what religion I claim right now. I feel like a free agent. I'm like, who's gonna send me the contract?
Interesting.
But I don't know, man. Who knows? I'm young. I'm 24, bro. Like, I haven't done this shit before. 3-2. I haven't done this stuff before. People ask me, what do you believe in life? I said, I don't know. I can only tell you what I like so far. I'll make my judgment later.
Yeah.
I'm just living, being young, because we're so young. We're lovely looking people. We've got energy. I'm gonna use my youth as best as I can, because you only got one crack at this thing, you know.
Yeah.
You know, gaming traumatized my mind. Yeah, on Call of Duty, you die, you respawn.
Yeah.
You're like, and you realise, like, oh shit, life doesn't work like that.
It doesn't.
So through Call of Duty, I realise how valuable life is. You know what I'm saying? I can't respawn.
Of course, yeah.
I used to chat shit sometimes. Free. I chat rubbish sometimes. But who knows, man? Like I said, I don't know anything yet.
Yeah.
I'm still living and learning, man. So that a lot of the opinions you would say, I'm just like, I don't know how to challenge it mentally, because it's not like...
It's not always
it's
about
like yours
challenge,
isn't...
Like, this goes back to what you were saying earlier about truths and, like, maybe not being able to have individual truths and then collective truths. But I think that's possible. It's just a matter of perspective shift, because, like I was saying earlier, I have my truths. I live by my truths. Another person's truth doesn't, like, invalidate mine or change mine. It just means someone else lives by something different to me, but we still will both have collective truths. Like, we can all still both collectively say the sun will rise in the sky tomorrow. Like, it's either going to be grey or blue up there tomorrow. Like, there are fundamentals of reality that we can all abide by, but we all are having such different lives and such different experiences that there's going to be a lot of individual truths that won't necessarily work for two people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and some individual truths are wrong.
But it's not your journey.
Okay.
It's not your
Do
journey.
you think Hitler's individual truths are right?
Absolutely not.
So there is some individual truth.
Yeah,
and there is some like him, man, not as famous as him. Some people do it on a minor level, man. Like, they might not be doing this great walk stuff, but they might be doing stuff like that on the minest of levels. That's like to say to a criminal, their truth is right.
Back to duality.
It means you need standards in society, laws, justice, hierarchy.
Absolutely.
You need these kind of things.
Fundamental truths, I think. But like I'm saying...
And people who discover new truths.
The fundamental truths should always override personal truths. I think murder's always wrong. Like, Jeffrey Dahmer might disagree, but just because he disagrees doesn't mean he's right. Like...
And that means with political opinions too. Some are wrong.
Some are just...
Like
yeah. I have a feeling I know what you wanted to go into. Someone asked me about that on my live. I was like,
To me, I can't debate it. You know why? Because I don't think there's a debate to be had. Simple as that.
Really?
Yeah, no debate. I think it's one-sided. There's one victim and one perpetrator. It's literally like cat and mouse.
I would agree, but I think I'm not going to say, but hopefully you lot get what I'm trying to say, but I think the executing force definitely...
Propaganda, fake.
But even then, the executing force, actually, I read something the other day, was actually originated by the perpetrators in this situation.
Western propaganda, fake.
Really?
Absolutely.
Can you cut out something? Because I'm a bit lost.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You said, shock. That's what I'm saying. My opinion is, it's just like there's one... True. Yeah. You have to do the clap. Yeah, I'm on your side.
Yeah.
But yeah, who knows, man. Do you know, I've got a quote though, that relates to what we were just saying. It said, obviously what we talk about is really like we should respect equality of perspective. But then I've read something that changed my mind. It was like, equality of perspective, ? Equality of problems, more like.
Equality of perspective versus equality of problems.
That means if everyone's opinion is respected, then everyone's problems must be respected.
Word.
Yeah, thus none can get solved more than the other. Yeah. So if yours tries to get solved, where's the equality? Solve theirs too. Yeah. Solve theirs, solve theirs, solve theirs, solve theirs, solve theirs. So if you are the powers to be, equality is a great thing. Yeah. Because it means everyone's voice is as loud as each other.
Right.
Before, when it wasn't equality of voice, some voices were louder, but when they were loud, they were really loud. So take that how you want, innit? Yeah. I don't know yet. I'm young. I'm still trying to work on it. But it definitely changed my mind, that opinion. I was like, oh yeah, it's actually true. It explains about all the bickering we get nowadays.
Yeah.
I suffered more than you. We suffered more than you. We
Everyone
suffered
wants to
more
be a
than
victim.
you.
It's the oppression
Before
of
we used to
imperfect.
value greatness. My culture achieved this. My people's achieved this. We had an ancestor who done this. Now it's what? 2 of your cousins died? Well, 15 of my uncles did.
Yeah.
And it's just, I'm like, back and forth, like, come on, man.
People do that with trauma at times as well, where it's like they tried to like, my trauma's worse
What
than
happened
yours.
to achievement wars? What?
Yeah.
Rocky Balboa, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, my country has Will Smith or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, now we're doing football.
Yeah.
Like, we're like Brazil, Ronaldinho. Yeah. We're better. We got Zidane, bro.
Yeah, man.
We have to have that football glory talk and all talks.
Yeah, for real.
But what do I know?
It's interesting to observe how different the masculine is, though, because like I said, I'm such a feminine person. As much as I say that, I do believe in like expressing the uglier sides of things, and at least, but I think there's balance though. Some people express and then they get stuck. Oh, woe is me, it's so horrible.
Yeah.
You have to let it go, and then pick yourself back up. What's next? You can't cling to that. And make that your identity and who you are.
4-3.
Oh no, I didn't swear.
Shut up, my bad.
Yeah, keep it to yourself.
My bad. That was
Still free.
an internal thought that came out by accident.
Trying to project on me, bro.
Don't say that.
Oh, okay. Well, guys, one last little bit then before we look to round things up. I've just been thinking a lot about, like, you know, I'm big on diversification, right? I think identity, we're our own people, we have our own walks of life, and I just think about, you know, just the one life we have. Are there any hobbies that you are currently partaking in that I would say challenge or, you know, are different to what you currently cling on to, if that makes sense? So, for example, Riyadh, you might be say like you read, but is there anything maybe you're consciously making the effort to do that might, you know, take you away from that world? Is there anything you do that, you know, what's your escapism route, if that makes sense?
Get me in trouble, man.
Yeah. Like, what do you do to like take you away from your current identity? What things are you exercising or practicing?
Again, like, I live in all one identity. I don't split my identities.
Yeah, all right.
Just to start there.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it, but I have to be honest. Dating, that's a nice thing for me. Good conversations over drinks,
it's not
like
a bad
London.
thing,
And I only go on a date with someone that is very interesting. And I didn't just meet them off Instagram, long time talking, then I go. And I enjoy doing that. Sit there, have a drink, have some food, talk,
connect,
learn their story, talk about my story. If it doesn't work, we'll be friends. So it's always a win-win.
Beautiful time.
Gym, I always go gym. That's like every day at this point.
Yeah, man. I'm still when I saw you before, I didn't even know you was that big before, bro.
I know,
Yo, when I saw that, I was like, that's Riyadh. Say that's Riyadh. I didn't even.
Rough times, man. So it is. I was always sporty, but I just love food, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'll eat 2-3 plates. Even to this day, if there's like 3 donuts, I can't just have one. I have to clean them all out. And my Unicorn was boring. My boys were like, yo, you got any snacks in there? Like, bro, snacks do not last in this yard. The minute comes through the front door, it leaves in a black bin one day later.
Waxed off completely.
Yeah. But the question at hand was, dating, I guess. But I kind of like to synthesize everything I do. So reading, I'm not just some advocate reader bookworm, you know. I write a lot. I love writing. I'm a teacher as well. Yeah. So I'm teaching in school. Like that's the best escape. It's not nothing's an escapism for me. Nothing's an escapism.
Yeah. You're present with everything.
I feel like it all feeds into one pool, doesn't it?
It's just one continuous river. I don't just like go off to the side, hide behind the tree, and come back.
Even if it does go into a stream.
Taoism?
I've read Tao Te Ching.
Tao Te Ching.
Yeah, Taoism is nice, but I don't really... Now this goes back to ideology now. I'm definitely much more of a Western thinker than an Eastern thinker. Okay. I believe that it's nice to go with the flow and be present and, you know, be stoic.
With Taoism as well.
But...
It's not entirely practical.
It's not, because it's. I don't think it's a will to strength. I don't think you grow strong by being present all the time. I only like to do things that make you grow stronger in character. And Western mentality is absolutely this mentality.
Brutal, yeah.
How am I now? How can I get stronger? It's the will to power. I've said it so many times. It's my favourite philosophy by Nietzsche. all forms of life, not just human life, all life is to grow in strength and power. Minute the life stops growing in strength and power, it decays. It rots. It limps. As long as the plant has enough power fed, it will grow. Minute it will sink. Human beings are the same.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because I didn't actually know East and West was that until you actually just said it then, because that's something I've been kind of trying to unwind with myself, where, you know, in terms of like chasing success, is success something you chase, or is it something that comes to you? Like, I'm very big on like, okay,
great question.
Work hard, work and do what you can, be brutal, work to be better. But an aspect of me, and something I've actually learned recently, is, you know, relax, align with reality, you know, allow yourself to essentially vibrate at the same frequency that whatever it is you want, allow it to come to you. So it's this very like paradoxical thing where, do you let it come to you? Do you relax into that state, or do you actively chase it?
The question is, if good luck was a woman, like a real person, good luck, what kind of people do you think she would favour the most?
Good luck, innit? Those that are trying the most, innit?
Exactly. Good luck doesn't like cowards.
Yeah.
Good luck would be like, why should I give myself to you if you're not even going to give yourself to me?
But then in that same breath, I believe that you should always follow the path of least resistance. But when I say that, I don't say that to absolve anyone of hard work. But why work so viciously and ferociously for something that is actively resisting you? Clearly it's not for you.
Oh, that's so difficult to say that.
Clearly it's not for you.
But also you've got to sacrifice yourself today for a better self in the future. Or else you have to sacrifice who you are today for a higher self.
Your efforts should at least bear some fruit to show you that, okay, I'm working towards something. You're doing 12-hour shifts somehow, no money, nothing.
Yeah.
What are you fighting so hard
What's the
for?
alternative?
Put that energy, put that strength, put that willpower into something that bears fruits.
It's paradoxical, isn't it?
It
It's
is
very,
I think that's just the nature of reality.
Yeah, yin and yang, man. I love this. Yeah.
When someone said, bro, should I work in a 12-hour factory or go trap? I go factory, bro.
Yeah.
Trap isn't a path of least resistance, though. That, if you ask me, that's just like a fundamental thing.
Short term.
It's short term, cool, you might get that money quick, but look at the stakes. That's not least resistance.
Yes.
Well, the problem with
Look
trapping,
at the stakes.
again, it's like, you can't just quit the money making, it's the lifestyle.
Yeah.
And people like trappers.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Girls like trappers. So there's more incentive to be a trapper.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. The culture likes trappers. Top boy.
Yeah.
You know? You know, if the culture likes it, more incentive to be a trapper. So we need to stop incentivizing it. But we won't. It's just mean you got to stop incentivizing it.
Yeah. So I was literally going to say people need to be going more within. Because I'm sure half the people living those lives are living it to fulfill something outside of themselves, but they're not happy with
People just need to watch Ali G, man. I feel like Ali G. I think he's just ruined everything to be a romance. I can't ever be a romance with Ali G. I'll be like, this is how I act. Oh my God. I'll be like, is this what I'm like?
For real.
Booyaka shot.
Honestly, word.
No, I need to watch that.
That old school,
Ali G is one of my favourite shows. But if I was about to commit suicide, and someone says, watch, play, I'll be like, York chicken. I'm with my man David. It's too funny, bro.
Such a character, man.
It's a team.
But guys, I think that's a good place to round off for now. Honestly,
you got a lot of editing.
To be honest, this was just a deep delve I expected. I love this. Honestly, lovely conversation, guys. So guys, that is it for now. Guys, let them know where they can find you then before we shoot off.
On social media at the Lyceum Podcast, and that's it. On all platforms, to be fair.
Yep. Sweet. Shants, where can they get you?
I'm mostly on TikTok at the Seraph888. My Instagram's linked because I'm not actually entirely sure of the username off the top of my head. So,
Will be in the description, guys. Both of their platforms will be in the description. Guys, thanks for coming through. Honestly, been a great conversation. Nice deep delve as always, guys. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. CTPT here. We out. Nice one, guys. Toodles.